The following program, The Russ Belville Show, is intended for responsible adults only. We advocate to the repeal of marijuana prohibition for adults. We discuss the science, culture, and controversy about America's marijuana laws. We do not advocate any illegal activity and encourage all listeners to learn their state and federal marijuana laws. Opinions and claims made by guests and advertisers on The Russ Belville Show are their own, and The Russ Belville Show cannot be held legally responsible for their validity or reliability. Viewer discretion is advised.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it, and it goes down smooth. Hey!
Spanning the continent to bring you the truth about cannabis and marijuana law reform.
I smoke pot and I like it a lot.
From the promise of legalization.
And I think that we need to rethink and decriminalize marijuana laws.
To the agony of prohibition.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
The Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Yeah, I hear you had a question for me.
Now, here's your host, Radical Russ Belville.
Good day, tokers and tokets, and welcome to the show. It is Thursday, August 29th, 2013, and it's got to be 420 somewhere in the world. It's also got to be an amazing day in marijuana law reform. If you have not heard the breaking news, Attorney General Eric Holder, on a conference call with governors from all across the country, including Colorado and Washington, indicated that the Federal Department of Justice will not be suing to overturn legalization in Washington and Colorado. Yes, this is amazing news, and we're going to get more of this news to you. There's been a memo that's been released by the Department of Justice to give them new guidelines that supersede the previous Ogden and Cole memos, new guidelines on how federal prosecutors should deal with marijuana legalization and medical marijuana throughout the United States. It's a trust but verify approach. It is a watershed moment in marijuana legalization news. We'll talk about it in depth in our Behind the Headlines segment today. Also on today's show, we got a few more of the interviews left over from Seattle Hemp Fest, including attorneys Matt Abel and Mara Felson. We got our pro go-go dancers taking a couple of dabs. And for Groovin' Thursday today, a little look at hip-hop from the crowd's view of the main stage of Seattle Hemp Fest. Also, coming up on Saturday, it's International Overdose Prevention Day, and I've got a little radical rant to talk about drug overdoses, which have now become, for the first time ever, the #1 injury cause of death in the United States. I've got an article up about that at hightimes.com. I encourage you all to check out my articles on hightimes.com, and we're going to talk about that in today's radical rant. We also want to remind you, we got new items for sale at the 420 Radio store, and want to thank Rolla J and Jam Band Fan for your recent orders of the new 420 Radio pin and the new 420 Radio stickers. Just mailed those out yesterday. They should be to you in a couple of days. If you'd like to order, visit our shop at 420radio.org/shop, or just go to 420radio.org and look for the store, and you got all sorts of cool things that you can buy there. Help support listener-supported cannabis community radio. Marijuana legalization radio kept free for the masses thanks to VIP supporters like you. You can become a VIP member by visiting 420radio.org today, send in a one-time donation, or support us monthly for as little as $9.99 a month. Hey, thanks everybody for all of your support. There's so much news today, I didn't even have time to put a tie on. We got our 420 Radio news coming next. Stick around.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Everywhere you go in Washington State, things are greener than ever. Why? Because last November, Washington voters made adult recreational use of cannabis legal, which is why the High Times U.S. Cannabis Cup is coming to Seattle once again to salute Washington's historic victory. If you love cannabis, then get yourself over to the High Times U.S. Cannabis Cup on September 7th and 8th as the marijuana community gathers in force to celebrate our newfound freedom. Meet the businesses of the emerging cannabis industry. Learn about cultivation, topical oils, concentrates, edibles, and more. Sample dabs, buds, and delectable morsels of cannabis cuisine. Then rock out on Saturday night at our Smokin' Hot concert featuring Slightly Stupid and Redman. And of course on Sunday evening, we present the U.S. Cannabis Cups for the top indicas, sativas, hybrids, edibles, and concentrates of the great state of Washington. Plus, we honor professional traveler and outspoken cannabis advocate Rick Steves with the High Times Lifetime Achievement Award. Come to Fremont Studios on September 7th and 8th in Seattle for a historic celebration. Go to medcancup.com for details. Be part of the growing cannabis community.
This is a banana. This is a cat. This is fire. This is harmless and actually helpful to some people. Don't believe everything you hear. The fact is that every major health organization rejects smoked marijuana. Now that the smoke is cleared, discover truecompassion.org.
This is your 420 Radio News for Thursday, August 29th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. Department of Justice issues memo, and we will discuss that more in our Behind the Headlines segment, basically allowing the states of Washington and Colorado to move forward with their marijuana legalization laws and perhaps providing guidance to protect the 20 states in America that have medical cannabis laws. More details in Behind the Headlines. New study, marijuana is most popular illegal drug worldwide, from CBS News. Marijuana is the most popular illegal drug worldwide, according to the first ever global survey of illicit drug use. The study also found that addictions to painkillers like Vicodin, OxyContin, and codeine kill more people than any other drug. The study was published online Thursday in the journal Lancet. Of the estimated 78,000 deaths in 2010 because of illegal drug use, more than half were because of painkiller addictions. Theo Voss of the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington, the study's senior author, said countries with harsh laws against drugs had worse death rates for addicts when compared to countries that relied on other policies to wean people off of drugs, such as needle exchange programs and methadone clinics. Arizona boy to be given medical marijuana for seizures, from ABC News. Xander Welton, age 5, was born with cortical dysplasia, a genetic defect that disrupts cellular patterns in the brain and is often the cause of epilepsy. Xander had his first seizure when he was 9 months old and now has them weekly. His parents, Jennifer and Jacob Welton of Mesa, Arizona, said they had tried multiple treatments, including various medications, brain surgery, and even shock therapy to help Xander. When Jennifer and Jacob Welton saw videos of other children who appeared to be thriving after they'd been treated with medical marijuana, they pursued a medical marijuana card for Xander and eventually found a doctor who was willing to treat Xander's epilepsy that way. Once they received their card, Welton said they would treat Xander with cannabidiol oil, or CBD, a chemical found in marijuana. To qualify for the program, 2 doctors must approve treatment. The minor's parent or guardian must be designated as a caregiver to receive the medical marijuana card, and the designated caregiver must live with the patient. Mormon mom wants medical marijuana for her sick son, from the Salt Lake Tribune. Jennifer May has tried 25 treatments in 10 years, a mix of prescribed diets and drugs, to quiet the lightning in her son's brain. Only 2 eased Stockton May's seizures, but their toxic side effects ravaged his bones and immune system, and the relief was temporary. His rare and intractable form of epilepsy, Dravet syndrome, always found a way around the treatment, said his mom, a self-described conservative and devout Mormon who is now pursuing what for her was once unthinkable, medical marijuana. She initially thought CBD was just another false lead, but earlier this month she saw a CNN report about CBD stopping Dravet syndrome seizures in a Colorado girl named Charlotte. I called Charlotte's mom and was convinced, said May. She was able to walk, able to eat, and went from 300 seizures a week to 1. Barry A. Hazel Jr., atheist, should be compensated by state. This from HuffingtonPost.com. An atheist parolee should be compensated by California after the state returned him to prison for refusing to participate in a religiously oriented rehabilitation program, a federal court ruled Friday, August 23rd. A 3-judge panel of the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals unanimously ruled that a lower court judge erred when he denied Barry Hazel Jr., a drug offender and an atheist, a new trial after a jury awarded him no damages. Hazel was serving time for methamphetamine possession in 2007 when, as a condition of his parole, he was required to participate in a 12-step program that recognizes a higher power. Hazel sued, alleging his First Amendment rights had been violated. The district court agreed, but allowed to stand a jury's conclusion that he deserved no compensation. Friday's ruling requires Hazel be awarded a new trial for damages and compensation. Toronto mayor says he's smoked a lot of marijuana. From World News, NBCnews.com. Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, who denied allegations earlier this year that he was caught smoking crack cocaine on camera, casually admitted on Wednesday that he has smoked, quote, a lot of marijuana. Ford made global headlines in May when U.S. blog Gawker and the Toronto Star both reported that their reporters had seen a cell phone video that appeared to show Ford using crack cocaine. Ford is the third Canadian politician to admit using marijuana in less than a week. Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne said earlier on Wednesday she had smoked the drug very infrequently decades ago, but stopped before getting into politics. Justin Trudeau, the Liberal Party leader, admitted he had used it 5 or 6 times in his life after being elected to Parliament. This has been your 420 Radio News for Thursday, August 29th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we go behind the scenes of the breakthrough news that the Obama administration will allow Colorado and Washington to move forward on marijuana legalization. You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. We'll be right back.
Adam Hand of Handmade Apparel produces quality custom designs for t-shirts, hats, and other apparel. Handmade Apparel is the official design shop for 420 Radio, The Russ Belville Show, Ganja John, and Cascadia Concentrates, among many clients who rely on Adam Hand for everything from short-run custom projects to full-run clothing lines. Adam's meticulous designs are individually crafted and screened in vibrant, high-definition color. Visit handmadeapparel.biz to browse the selection of handmade gear or to get a personal quote for your own designs. Handmade Apparel, a proud supporter of 420radio.org.
Let 'em bring in the beat.
The Russ Belville Show reminds you to never smoke and drive impaired. Hang out for a while and share.
Cause the day was hard and your work was long and you need a break from all that's wrong. You better look at the clock cause it's 4:19. Time to reach in that pocket for your bag of green and smoke that weed.
You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Time for us to go behind the headlines on today's breaking news that the Obama administration will allow Colorado and Washington's marijuana legalization. In a historic move, the U.S. Department of Justice under Attorney General Eric Holder released a memo of guidance to U.S. attorneys to allow the states of Washington and Colorado to move forward with their implementation of legal, regulated marijuana markets. Entitled Guidance Regarding Marijuana Enforcement, Deputy U.S. Attorney General James M. Cole explains how this new memo supersedes the so-called Ogden memo regarding federal priorities in medical marijuana states. Cole writes, quote, "The guidance set forth herein applies to all federal enforcement activity concerning marijuana in all states," end quote. As written, this memo promises to not only allow Colorado's and Washington's recreational marijuana programs to proceed, but should also relieve federal pressure against medical marijuana programs in the 20 states and Washington, D.C. The Obama administration makes clear that it intends to enforce the Controlled Substances Act, or CSA, but notes that the Justice Department is, quote, committed to using its limited investigative and prosecutorial resources to address the most significant threats, end quote. The memo then lists 8 priorities U.S. attorneys should consider for federal marijuana enforcement, which include distribution to minors, sales by gangs and cartels, diversion to non-legal states, using marijuana laws as cover for other crimes, use of violence and firearms, drugged driving and other public health consequences, the spoiling of public lands, and to continue to disallow the use of marijuana on federal property. So long as the state's medical and recreational programs address these priorities, the memo promises, quote, conduct in compliance with those laws and regulations is less likely to threaten the federal priorities set forth above, end quote. The memo even suggests that, quote, a robust system may affirmatively address those priorities, end quote. However, the Obama administration will be taking what Attorney General Holder called a trust but verify approach when speaking today to state governors during a conference call. If, in Justice's opinion, the states fail to uphold these 8 federal priorities, the Obama administration, quote, may seek to challenge the regulatory structure itself, in addition to continuing to bring individual enforcement actions, including criminal prosecutions, focused on those harms, end quote. In a paragraph relevant to America's largest medical marijuana dispensary, Oakland's Harborside Health Center, and many other large for-profit or non-profit dispensary operations, the administration explained that, quote, prosecutors should not consider the size or commercial nature of a marijuana operation alone, end quote, when deciding whether to prosecute. Rather, they should weigh each case against the 8 listed federal priorities. Of course, the final paragraph of the memo makes clear that this is merely a memo of guidance to federal prosecutors, and it makes no guarantees and creates no rights whatsoever for those engaged in the state lawful cultivation, distribution, sales, and possession of marijuana. It remains to be seen whether this memo is truly a watershed moment for federal acceptance of marijuana legalization. The last time a Department of Justice memo guided U.S. attorneys not to waste prosecutorial resources on medical marijuana providers who were, quote, in clear and unambiguous compliance with existing state laws providing for the medical use of marijuana, end quote, we saw the Obama administration engage in the most medical marijuana raids of any presidential term in history. So while we are very excited to hear about this memo and it seems to indicate a change in direction in federal policy, keep in mind that these federal policies are enforced at the U.S. attorney level, and we still have to rely on people like Melinda Hogg to interpret this memo and to use her prosecutorial resources in accordance with it. The text of the entire memorandum is available through many outlets. My piece written up on it is available at nationalcannabiscoalition.com as well as theweedblog.com. And unlike other outlets, I've actually given you the entire text of the memo rather than a PDF so that you can easily cut and paste it from those websites into any Facebook or Twitter or your own blogs if you so choose. This memo also makes note of the October 2009 Ogden memo and the June 2011 Cole memo, and again, does seem to supersede these memos. With Attorney General Eric Holder being called before Senator Patrick Leahy's Judiciary Committee to answer questions with regard to marijuana enforcement and the over-incarceration of Americans in this country, with all the pressure that is being brought to bear by the now 20 states that have legalized the medical use of marijuana, and with the Obama administration and Eric Holder seeming to want to address the over-incarceration of Americans, this memo provides more indication that perhaps in Obama's second term, he is interested in making positive strides in the area of the Department of Justice and in specifically the area of the war on Americans using marijuana. It's a hell of a day, Brian.
Oh, hell of a day.
We're going
freedom.
We're going to celebrate by seeing if we can avoid any federal prosecution while we're enjoying this bowl. Hope you do too.
Oh, have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would sell you South Carolina. Then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
Marijuana and alcohol are the two most popular recreational drugs in America. Marijuana smoking is non-toxic, relatively safe, and has a low risk of dependence. Alcohol drinking is potentially fatal, dangerous to society, and is quite addictive. Marijuana is safer, so why are we driving people to drink? That's the question of the new book, Marijuana is Safer, So Why Are We Driving People to Drink? By Paul Armentano, Mason Tvert, and Steve Fox. Visit Amazon.com or ChelseaGreen.com today to order your copy of Marijuana is Safer, or visit MarijuanaIsSafer.com.
Hi, this is Dan Michaels. If you're looking for professional voice talent for your commercial or podcast, I'm your man. Visit danmichaelsaudio.com for more information. Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Groovin' Thursday, featuring rap, hip-hop, soul, and funk music. You can get downloads and more information about all our Daily Toker Tunes by visiting music.radicalruss.com. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tune.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Time for some Groovin' Thursday music, and of course we're really happy today with that whole news of the memo and everything going on, so about time for us to have ourselves a good Groovin' Thursday. And of course, you know, the past couple of weeks we've been playing a lot of video from the Seattle Hemp Fest, where we have such a good time. And one of my favorite things about Seattle Hemp Fest is the breadth of different styles of music that are available there. It's just amazing, all the different kind of bands. There's like 4 or 5 different stages with music going on. You get everything from metal to country to a little bit of jazz and hip hop and rap, and there's even a dance safe stage where you get that electronic dance music. This next band, I got to apologize to them in advance because I don't know their name. There was a number of bands, and my the date on my camera got messed up, and so I have no idea when they played. Otherwise, I would just go look it up on the HempFest website. But there was a hip-hop band playing on the main stage on Sunday, and I had a chance to walk through the crowd, kind of get a feel for Seattle Hemp Fest, get to enjoy it, and see it from the crowd's point of view. So we'll switch to that video right now. This is Seattle Hemp Fest, an unknown hip-hop band, and the view from the crowd.
Bring in the bass, bring in that fucking bass. .420, I see the cloud come up. Look at that joint, that's like a Cheech and Chong joint right there. Chase those crazy ball heads out of town. Chase those crazy ball heads out of our town. I and I built a cabin. I and I plant the corn. It is my people before me, slave for this country. Now you look me with that scorn. Come and smoke built your penitentiaries. We built your schools. Brainwash education to make us the fools. Hate is your reward for our love. Telling us of your God of all. We're gonna chase those crazies. Chase those crazies. Chase those crazy Christians out of our town. Don't come up to me with your fake ass religion, reading your fake ass Bible to me. It's freedom of speech right here. Who's getting high with head PE today? Here come the con man, coming with his con plan. We won't take no rise. We've got to fight for what's right. We're gonna chase those crazy. Chase those crazy. Chase those crazy skinheads out of our town. This all about love here today. This all about love your brother and sister. Love your neighbor. Seattle, say yeah. Say yeah. Say oh, 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 oh. Say yeah, 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 yeah.
Are you or is someone you know a marijuana smoker? Have you or is someone in your family been arrested for a marijuana violation? You need to know the truth about pot. NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, is the most comprehensive source of information regarding marijuana and its effects on health, as well as legal issues. NORML even offers a database of lawyers specializing in cannabis in your area. NORML, the nation's largest and most successful marijuana law reform organization, has spent decades gathering the knowledge and science on everything related to cannabis. NORML is the best resource to find out the truth about marijuana, connect with a lawyer in your area, or help find an end to prohibition. Information is available at norml.org, that's NORML.org, or toll free at 888-67-NORML.
The cannabis community includes a diverse set of activists and nonprofits working to end the prohibition of marijuana. We take the time to hear the stories of reform on the...
I suggest you all begin smoking marijuana.
When you die and want to be buried on a pad, that's the pad. The pad you use, huh? You can just take my urn, stick it right here on an oil slick pad. I'm just messing with him endlessly.
If you got the guy that's got the stamp that he's using.
We love you guys.
He's using some oddball thing.
That's
Man, it might not work so
Happy
well.
Daddy tools. We got all these great
check it out.
accessories.
I want to find this.
Oil slick.
Why would there be
If you're getting uncured, no, it's down there. We are out of the pink and the baby blue.
Matt's here, where it's much less free.
Well, yes, I live in the wild, wild Midwest. This is Matt Abel here at
Wait a minute, we gotta see this.
420 Radio.
Shitty advice, $1. That's the cutest thing I've ever seen. We could put that in some lawyer's office, right?
We charge much more for our shitty advice.
Yeah, once you have a law degree, it's the hundreds of dollars you charge for shitty advice. Okay. We're just kidding. But anyway, making it legal in Michigan.
I'm sorry, Russ?
Making it legal in Michigan?
Making it legal in Michigan. Well, we're doing it city by city. We're decriminalizing it, but we need to raise the money to do a statewide ballot initiative, and we're hoping to do that by 2016, sooner if possible.
2016 would be good, get everybody on the bandwagon. A lot of states would be hitting them at that time.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's just a matter of getting the signatures. We need about $500,000 to get about 400,000 signatures. That would put it on the ballot in Michigan.
I think Michigan can do it. You guys passed medical, what, 63%? Something like that?
That's right.
Every
That's right.
county?
Yeah, good memory. Every county in Michigan.
Even the John McCain counties voted for medical marijuana.
That's right.
Fantastic. Can you say? So we ran into Matt and Mara. Hi, Mara. Hi, Matt. How's your
Hey, Russ.
Awesome.
Awesome
Fantastic.
Hemp Fest?
My very first one.
Your very first Hemp Fest?
My very first Hemp Fest.
This is shocking. And so we got tens of thousands of people here that are using marijuana. Aren't you scared? Aren't you terrified? The violence that's about to erupt any minute.
Any moment.
The pot zombies roaming the streets in search of strains.
Yeah, I don't even think I saw anyone considering fighting here.
Considering fighting. Well, they start and then they just forget what it's all about.
Oh, dude, what was that about? Oh, here, hit this.
We're so glad to have you up here at Hemp Fest. Thanks for joining us.
Great.
Can you say something for me? You say,
freedom isn't free, everyone. Donate to Hemp Fest so we can go on in perpetuity.
That's good. It's Steve Wessing who's got the Hempfest button booth.
Hello.
Here they all are. I like this one. This is a little meta. White text on black button. I like that. Of course, I love the Potland 420. That's always good. Begalize it. There we go. Begalize it next to Save the Roaches. That's cute. That's cute. And let's see. Until you know how this medication may affect you, do not buy groceries, get married, or make any life-changing decisions. I should have hit that one. Let's see. Good advice. The kettle is black. That's the pot. Calling the kettle black. Love it. Legalize shemp. Yes, legalize shemp. Faux. This one's good for Portland. We have so many of these Vietnamese restaurants. Then we have Faux 20. That's good. Road dope. Land Republican. Urban Legend 710. Oh, start to get the 710 is the new 420. That's right. And then we got this one. I do not consent to any surge. That's an important button. You should just get that one and wear it all the time. Do you get scared when those cops come up to you? You just point at it. You say, hey, I don't consent. Having a happy Hemp Fest?
Absolutely. I'm always having a happy Hemp Fest.
Happier that it's legal?
It's not legal enough for my taste, but it's a good step.
Yeah.
I like the feeling.
We got it legal to I can have a bag in my pocket. Now let's get to how I can have a garden in my backyard.
Well, and how I can, take my daughter for a drive,
That would be helpful. That would be nice too. No kidding about that.
That's the part I worry about.
As we keep, as this is legal and more people learn about it and they realize, wait a minute, it's been legal for 2-3 years and we haven't seen mass blood carnage on the highways. We got to change that limit.
I think we do need a change, but the change that we need is impairment-based corrections, not substance-based.
Yeah, exactly. They're not testing impairment levels on Oxy or Dilaudid or anything else like that.
Exactly. If you're impaired, you shouldn't be driving, but just because you have a substance in you doesn't mean you're impaired.
Yeah, the government's own Schedule 3 Marinol pill on the label says, until you know how this may affect you, don't drive or operate heavy machinery, which kind of says, when you do know how it will affect you,
you kind of can.
Best judgment.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like we trust adults. Thank you so much, Steve, for everything. And
keep up the good work, Russ.
Keep up the work on the buttons here. Loving it.
Hey, little bigger. What are you after? You got it.
You gotta charge the money, man.
Hey,
you gotta charge the money to be doing that to my dog.
He got it, whatever it is.
You want more of it, too. Is there dabs in there? There's fucking dabs in there.
Gotta be dabs in there.
There must be dabs down there.
Gotta be dabs somewhere.
Give me those dabs.
My dog ain't playing. He's after something.
That's right, exactly. And that's my First Amendment. I can say that. I'm not going to say it again because of all the children around here, but you know what? It's time to say that. You know what? I lied again. You know what? Fuck CPS! All right, anyways, thank you guys so much. If you can, please donate. We're trying to get a family attorney that has balls, one that ain't scared, just like all of us up here right now. That's the thing. There's a lot of people saying you should jump through the hoops. No, it ain't going to happen anymore. I did their assessments. I came back nonviolent, blah, blah, blah. They're coming down and they're picking on me about this whole marijuana thing. I'm a medical patient. I took another assessment. The guy told me there's a difference between an addiction and using for your medicine. And I use for my medicine. I'm not chemically dependent on it. That's bullshit. Non-toxic, it's just bullshit. I love my daughter. I want to be a dad. I really do. She's the only child I have. She's so pretty. Mom disappeared. She's gone. She signed off on dependency for a year and disappeared. We have no idea where she is. We don't care where she is. I would love for her to be her, mom, but I'm dad. I want my child. I'm fighting for my child. I am fighting for Lily. I am fighting my ass off. I'm up here in front of you guys. You know what? CPS is going to see this. You know what? Once again, fuck CPS. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Sarah. And thank you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Reba. This is my baby Zephyrus and my husband Brian.
Yeah. You guys use marijuana, don't you? Yeah. Very, very passionate speech. Very emotional to hear.
All right, Radical Russ 420 Radio. We're here with Emily Jo, who's got the Just Dab It t-shirt, and we are getting ready to dab here at Dab Central. How has your Hemp Fest been so far?
My Hemp Fest has been fantastic.
Yes.
Russ.
And you've got your friend's name again?
I'm Velvet.
Velvet?
Yep.
Of course you are. Velvet and Emily Jo, we are going to dab over here at Dab Central. But tell folks your business, what you're doing here, and what you're promoting.
I run ProGoGo. We're facebook.com/PROGOGO, and I run professional go-go's. We don't like to slack. We don't go out and smoke cigarettes outside the whole time. We should be inside the club dancing or drinking. I don't allow drinking.
Yeah.
It's not my thing. I'm all about smoking weed. So
well, let's get to that. We're going to come over here to Dab Central if we can.
You gotta be chill.
Of course, the oil ship folks here at Dab Central, but we got Big Daddy Fink who's dabbing currently. All right, so we got Big Daddy Fink. All right, so Emily's going to be doing our dab. We're going to be just fine. Chair, you can have a chair. Go ahead.
Don't hold it in, just breathe it on out.
That's my lungs.
So that was effective?
That was effective.
Good for you. Just dab it. Just dab it. All right, Velvet, you're up. Do you think you can take this hit better than Emily Jo did?
Oh, yeah, I know I can.
No coughing?
Nuh-uh.
The full dab?
We'll find out. I bet I can, though.
All right, we're going to get you from this side. There's Velvet doing her full dab. Oh, there's still some in there. What's this?
Breathe it on out.
What's this?
You don't have to hold it in.
Oh, no. This may be a tie. We may have to have a tiebreaker. Who knows?
Oh, it's so close.
Here, hold this. See how much you left in there? My goodness, Velvet. All right, so I don't know, folks. It may be a tie between Velvet and Emily Jo. What do you think? She coughed a little, too. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it was a good one.
Yeah, it was a tie, I guess.
Might have to have a tiebreaker.
So what do you two think about being 420 Radio
new spokes rolls.
I'm all for it.
I love it.
And then you can
All right.
promote your own stuff too.
We can.
Yes, it's all about public radio.
Why don't you go ahead and promote your own stuff?
Well,
We did.
Okay, we did. Fine.
But do it again.
I hire male and female dancers, and currently we are having auditions, 18 and up, at Neighbors nightclub in Seattle. If you guys know where that is, it's on Capitol Hill. So, right across the way. Thank you.
Fantastic. And we can catch you guys on Facebook, Twitter.
Absolutely can. Yep. Pro Go Go. Look us up on Facebook.
All right. Thank you for stopping by the Dab Central. Appreciate it. So nice to meet you.
It was a pleasure.
Take it easy. Have a good time.
Thank you.
All right, we had ourselves a good time at Dab Central there for Seattle Hemp Fest. And remember, folks, if you've never been to Seattle Hemp Fest, you must go at least once in your life. It's always the third weekend of August. You can start planning now. You've got to make it there. All right, hey, we might have a special guest caller dialing up in the next few minutes. Our good friend Brave Michaela with an update on her condition. So we'll go on a commercial break and we'll just see what happens. Otherwise, Radical Rant coming up next.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
Greatest threats to liberty has been the government taking people's liberty for things that people are in favor of. The Pew Research Group shows that 52% of Americans think marijuana should not be illegal. And yet there are people in jail, and your Justice Departments continue to put people in jail for sale and use on occasion of marijuana. That's something the American public has finally caught up with. It was a cultural lag, and it's been an injustice for 40 years in this country to take people's liberty for something that was similar to alcohol. You have continued what is allowing the Mexican cartels power and the power to make money, ruin Mexico, and hurt our country by having a prohibition in the late 20th and 21st century. We saw it didn't work in this country in the 20s. We remedied it. This is the time to remedy this prohibition. And I would hope you would do so.
All right. Of course, that's Representative Steve Cohen from Tennessee, who is speaking to Attorney General Eric Holder. And now we go back to our telephone lines where we got a very special guest calling in. Is that Brave Michaela on the line?
Hello.
Hi, Michaela. How are you doing?
Good.
I'm glad you called in. What are you driving right now, or are you at home?
No, we're at our grandma's.
You're at Grandma's house, huh?
Yep.
Well, that's fantastic. How are you feeling lately?
Good.
Good. Are you still having to do any maintenance or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm still on maintenance, but my counts are low.
Your counts are low. That's good to hear. And I heard rumor that you got some pretty long hair now.
Yep.
How long is your hair?
Super long.
Super long? Yeah. Is it past your chin?
No.
Oh, okay. But it's still growing, huh?
Yep.
So you must be pretty excited that, things are happening and school's probably starting pretty soon for you, right?
Yep.
Do you get to go back to school?
What?
Do you get to go back to school soon?
She's going to be homeschooled.
Yep, but I'm going to do homeschool on the computer.
Oh, homeschooling on the computer. Okay. That sounds pretty exciting.
Yep. And I also got all the school supplies for it, too.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I always remember when I was a kid, I always liked at the end of summertime, you got to go buy pencils and papers and markers and all sorts of stuff. Did you get some neat stuff?
Uh-huh.
What'd you get that you really like?
That have a cake.
Yeah? Wow. So, hey, what grade are you going to be in?
I'm going to be in second grade.
Second grade. Okay. So that means you're probably doing a lot of reading and a lot of math stuff, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be pretty good. Hey, our folks that are watching the show, they really, really love you.
Uh-huh.
They say so right now in the chat room.
Hello.
Hello. And Lively Libra, one of our fans out there in the chat room, wants to know if you have written any new songs.
Yep.
Do you have a song for us?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, I'll just let you sing a song then, okay?
It's when I sing it when I get mad.
Okay, this is the song for when you get mad. Go ahead.
When you get so mad that you wanna roar, take a deep breath and count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yay.
When you get real mad and you want to roar, take a deep breath and count to 4.
That's good advice right there. Hey, Michaela, I miss you.
I miss you.
And Bacon Dan misses you too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We all miss you here.
So, what makes you mad and you have to sing the mad song?
When Riley sometimes takes something away from me.
Oh, your sister, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes when you have a brother or a sister, that'll happen, and sometimes it makes you mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to hear that you're doing well, and I'm even more glad to hear that you're beating your cancer.
Yep.
And you know, there's been a lot of kids that we've been talking about lately. We've seen a lot of them on TV shows that have things that aren't cancer. They have like seizures and they have other diseases, and cannabis is helping them too.
Uh-huh.
Does that make you happy?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. How's your mom and dad doing?
Good.
Good. Are they doing more like TV shows and radio shows?
Daddy did a Fox news in Seattle a few weeks ago.
Wow, news in Seattle. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Do you think you're famous? Do you think people think you're famous?
Uh-huh.
Do you like being famous?
Yeah.
Well, good. I think you're a great example, and I think that other little kids out there, when they hear your voice and when they hear how well you're doing, I think it makes them less scared.
Me too.
Me too. All right. Well, I thank you so much for calling in, and I hope that you're back in Portland sometime soon so we can see you.
Uh-huh. I was in Portland yesterday.
Oh, when I missed you in Portland yesterday, you could have shown me how long your hair was.
I'm trying to go to Hempstock.
Yep.
Hempstock, that's
they're
right.
going to be speaking on Sunday.
That's right. Hempstock is September 7th and 8th. It's not this weekend, but it's next weekend. And so, yeah, you'll meet all sorts of people there.
What? I'm going to sell shirts there and like little ribbon pins
And some of your bracelets, like the one that I've been wearing every day for months.
Well, that's really cool. Well, I hope that helps, and you can raise some money to help pay medical bills and stuff. And I know more people will see you and your mom and dad at Hempstock, and they'll know more about how cannabis is medicine, and it'll be good for everybody.
Uh-huh.
All right, Michaela, you take care. I want to thank you for calling in, and we hope to see you soon.
Uh-huh.
All right. Do you want to say anything to the people that are listening to you to say goodbye?
Uh-huh. Be brave and be strong. Bye-bye.
Be brave and be strong. Thank you so much, Brave Michaela. We will talk to you again very, very soon. Appreciate you calling in. Bye-bye. When we come back, we'll have some radical rant for
somebody
you.
from getting
Stick
all
around.
potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel.
The Russ Belville Show reminds you to never smoke and drive impaired. Hang out for a while. Share.
Hey, little dude, send your mama and daddy out of the room. I gotta get you up on this. You know who I am. Snake, dealing in weed, coke, crack, your choice. Take one hit and you'll do anything to cop more. Steal from your mama, lie, cheat on your homeboys. But hey, that's the price you pay when you deal with dudes like me. Now, some folks will tell you that I'm dealing in poison. But hey, do I look like the kind of guy that would do that to a kid like you? Yes!
You want answers? I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
And you have offended the Shaolin Temple.
You can't handle the truth.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical Rant.
All right, got a few things to talk about for today's Radical Rant, and most recently I just penned an article for hightimes.com with respect to it was a note I got from Stephen Gutwillig out at the Drug Policy Alliance, and they were pointing out that this Saturday is International Overdose Prevention Day and wanted to raise awareness about overdose deaths. And most interesting stat I found here is that in the year 2010, for the first time, overdose deaths from drugs became the leading injury cause of death. Now, not just the overall cause of death, because that's still heart disease, right? But, for injury cause of death, drug overdose is now the leading injury cause of death. And in fact, for people aged 25 to 64, more people die of drug overdoses than from car crashes. So the Drug Policy Alliance is wanting us all to recognize that Saturday, August 31st is International Overdose Awareness Day. And I just wanted to take a look at that with the perspective of those of us who are fighting for marijuana legalization, because my belief, if we legalize marijuana, we could overcome a lot of these overdose deaths. Here's some stats for you. Drug overdose deaths have more than doubled since 1999. According to the Centers for Disease Control, 60% of overdose deaths in 2010 were related to prescription pharmaceuticals. And of those 22,000 plus deaths, 3 out of 4 were related to opioid painkillers like OxyContin, Vicodin, and Dilaudid. And 3 out of 10 were related to benzodiazepines like Valium, Xanax, and Ambien. And yes, 75% plus 30% is 105%. There were some overdoses that were from both drugs, so that's the reason for that. Now, why this is frustrating is because cannabis, we have found, works synergistically with opioids to kill pain. If you use cannabis along with Vicodin, cannabis along with OxyContin, cannabis with Dilaudid, you'll have to use less OxyContin, Vicodin, or Dilaudid to achieve the same effect. In fact, when they studied the patients at the Berkeley Patients Group in California, they found that their patients that were using opioid painkillers, 2/3 of them were able to reduce the amount of opiate prescriptions they had to use to achieve the same effect. Reductions from as much as 1/3 to half the number of pills. How many of those 22,000 overdose deaths from prescription opiates could have been avoided if cannabis had been a legitimate treatment option? How many of the deaths from Xanax, Ambien, and Valium could have been avoided if people could have used cannabis for their anxiety or their insomnia? And another potential cause for the doubling in prescription overdose deaths can be traced to their marketing. Prior to 1997, advertisement for pharmaceuticals was extremely limited. But thanks to a rule change at the FDA that year, Big Pharma was freed up to market its drugs direct to you, the consumer. The United States and New Zealand are the only countries in the world that allow a drug company to market directly to you. And in other nations, Big Pharma is mostly limited to marketing to doctors, people who should have some expertise on the matter. Now, here's another stat. In 1995, Big Pharma spent $340 million advertising its drugs, and again, mostly advertising them to doctors and hospitals. In 2009, the advertising budget for Big Pharma was $4.5 billion. That's an increase of 1,300%. Now, for the other 40% of the drug overdoses that are related to illicit drugs like cocaine, meth, heroin, and so on, we'd like to note that the widespread use of drug testing in academia and in the job market is incredibly biased against cannabis consumers. Marijuana metabolites are going to show up in your test for days, far longer than the metabolites for cocaine, meth, heroin, and other drugs are flushed from your system. And few schools or jobs are testing for alcohol abuse. So this creates a perverse incentive for those who want to use recreational drugs to choose ones that, unlike cannabis, can cause a fatal overdose. And in the unfortunate case that someone does overdose, laws criminalizing the possession of cannabis and other drugs work to prevent witnesses from calling for emergency medical help. just in case the witnesses might have some weed on them and they get arrested and jailed. Now, Drug Policy Alliance has been working since 2007 to help pass what are called 911 Good Samaritan laws, and they've passed them in 13 states and Washington, D.C. These laws provide some level of immunity from arrest and prosecution if the possessor of drugs is calling 911 to help someone out with a drug overdose. Now, this is a good start, but keep in mind the legalization of possession in Washington and Colorado freed every pot smoker to call 911, and not just for drug overdoses, but also to report criminal activity. Doesn't that sound like a better solution? Why should the pot smoker only be able to call 911 when someone's overdosing? How about being able to call 911 when someone's broken into your house? I was reading a story on, I can't remember if it was Salon or what outlet it was. Maybe it was Ladybud. I think it was Ladybud. About a woman whose house had been broken into for the third time. And she called cops to check out the break-in. And they didn't do much investigation of the break-in, but once they smelled pot in the house, they did a whole lot of investigation of her personal effects, of her drawers, until they could find something to bust her for. And it's because we've set up this perverse profit incentive. There's not a whole lot of profit for the cops in spending a lot of investigatory time trying to find who broke into your house. If they find the stuff the person stole, they just have to give it back to you. But in the case of a drug crime, they can boost their stats, they can get a bunch of arrests, and if they find any money or property, they get to keep it for themselves. So these are things that I think everyone should think about with respect to International Overdose Day. And finally, to round up this rant, I just want to go back to the Obama administration memo, the Department of Justice memo, to let you know that Project SAM has already released a news release on this. And of course, they're predicting the end of the world as we know it. I've got a satire up on smartapproaches.com if you'd like to read that. But I just wanted to point out, they make a point that in 2009, when the Ogden memo came out, all these medical marijuana dispensaries just suddenly, sprang into existence and caused all these terrible harms. Here's some of the statistical differences between 2009 and 2011 in California, Colorado, Michigan, and Oregon, where the most dispensaries opened up. Traffic fatalities went down. People who've tried marijuana went down. Children who've tried marijuana, well, it went up a little in California and Colorado, went down in Michigan and Oregon. State domestic product, that would be how productive the economies are, went up in all 4 states. Injuries and illnesses per 100 workers went up in all the states that had data. Or I'm sorry, went down. There were fewer injuries and illnesses, fewer missed days of work since 2009. High school graduation rates went up in every state. They went down 0.1% in Colorado. But otherwise, high school graduation rates went up. Violent crime per 100,000 persons went down in all 4 of those states. So clearly there's a connection between the commercialization of marijuana in the medical marijuana industries in those 4 states in 2009 and nothing bad happening in 2011. The sky is not falling. The Chicken Littles of the rehabitionists, the Chicken Littles of the prohibitionists are finally being exposed. Even the Attorney General doesn't believe them anymore. And I, for one, am going to enjoy watching Kevin Sabet and his ilk slowly fade into obscurity as America accepts legal marijuana. That's all the time we got for today. For Brian the Red, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you